So we are going to continue from where you stopped yesterday, section 14, GitHub in VS Code, how we can manage file. Before I start reading into the text, I'll just give you a very quick overview of what these terms mean. So starting with Git, it's a software, okay, that you put or you have locally on your computer, on your individual personal computers, that is used for managing different versions of your code, of your software code. It's local, it's a software on your computer. That's it. Yeah, if it may come in your computer already installed, or you may need to install it, but it's local, it's on your computer, and it's used for managing different versions control, and maintaining your code. That's it. Okay. While GitHub is a cloud-based solution that hosts Git, that enables collaboration. When you have a software locally on your computer, only you can use that software. And many a times in code generation development, it's always collaboration. Multiple people working on that software, on that code. If it's only on your computer, it's become very difficult for collaboration. So GitHub enables collaboration. Different version, many people working on the same code via cloud interface. So that's what this is. So whatever I'll be explaining, it's about what Git is. It's a software locally on your computer for managing your code version control, while GitHub is a cloud-based solution. Look at this way. We all have, for example, Microsoft Word installed on our computer, and we work on it. But if you want to write a paper with more than one authors, how do you do that? Do you all go and work on different sections and send it to one person to come and match it together? It can work, but um it's not efficient. You may override one each other's work. Like I'm working on one thing, you may be working on the same thing without realizing things like that. It takes time. What people do nowadays is we use Google Docs. Everybody is online, everybody is working on it. Or you can use Microsoft Office online, the Word online, and everybody works on it. So see it in a similar way, just like that. You can have it locally on your computer, but if it's on the cloud, that's GitHub, then multiple people working together. The only distinction with this example analogy that I have given is that while with Google Docs or Microsoft Online, you work directly with it online, with GitHub, you still work on it locally on your computer. When you are ready, then you take it to GitHub. You can just transfer it directly to GitHub, and any other person can transfer whatever they've done. And that's where the Git comes. It manages the different versions and all of that. So we would look at some terms that I use in this scenario, pushing how you take whatever you've done and sync it with whatever you have, or put it live for people to see and GitHub, and then how you can update whatever you have on your own local version by pulling things like that. We see what we mean by fork on a GitHub repository, where a repository is just a directory on GitHub. I will quickly stop, pause here for a few minutes if there is any question before I go deep into it. If you don't want to unmute yourself to speak, if you just send thumbs up or whatever, I know we are moving together. Otherwise, I will think I'm speaking to myself or I have a internet disconnection or things like that. So any question? Thumbs up, anything that I know like we're together? Oh, the thumbs up doesn't come to screen. Thank you. So in section 13, created, you've all created a GitHub account. I would assume you've had some introduction about GitHub with Dr. Shamsuddin. This section teaches you uh, the actual daily workflow. Um, and keep in mind these terms, you'll be hearing them a lot. Cloning, cloning, forking, staging, committing, branching, pushing, pulling, and opening a pull request entirely from VS Code with the terminal equivalent alongside every step so you understand what interface is doing on your behalf. This is the single most important workflow in the course after Python. Almost every collaborative data science project, published dataset, open source library you touch from here is managed exactly this way. Don't forget to mute yourself as you join in, please. So the three ways that projects comes to your computer, and then some of these terms are a bit confusing when you are not very familiar with GitHub. So but they are all used in different scenarios. Well, we'll be trying some of these things in VS Code. It will really be helpful if you even if you join on your phone to have your VS Code open on your computer so that you can try some of these things. So so these operations are things you can run on your terminal, okay? Or command prompt if case you are using Microsoft Windows. So when you see operation here, git init, it means you go, for example, oh, you go here and type this what it means. You put an operation in your terminal. And I'm sure you know how to open a terminal on your VS Code, right? Okay. Then we have git init turns an existing local folder into a GitHub, a Git repository from scratch. So if you're on any folder, okay, for consistency, I'll be using VS Code terminal. Yep, I have something here. Uh, file. What happens if I don't want to open folder? What folder do I want to open? Hmm. Yep, there's nothing here. Ah. Oops, there are some files. So let's see, I type in whatever we have there in it. We have this folder. It's a local folder on my computer. If I type in this command, it will turn this folder into a Git repository. It means this is not already Git repository. Now it will turn it into that way. So initialize empty Git repository in whatever. So here now it's green. It means it has converted this to Git repository. So if you type in git clone, it downloads a copy of repository you already have write access to. It means a repository that you can already copy. So what you type in is, we are going to do it today. You type git clone and you can type the repository name, then it will clone. From the word cloning, you are just copying a repository that you already have access to. So it copies everything. Then we have the fork. You'll be hearing it a lot. It's when you make a copy of an existing repository. So ordinarily, what you do is you fork a page, a repo, then you clone it. So you make your own copy of someone else's repository on GitHub, then download a copy. So when you fork it, you make a local copy of it, fork. Then you can clone it. So why do you need to do this? If you've seen a repo that you are interested in, you want to improve, work upon, or whatever, you cannot edit it ordinarily if you don't have right access. If it's not a public, you don't have right access, you cannot edit it. How do you do it? Then you can fork it. Then it means you just make a copy of it that becomes your own on your page, and then you can clone it and you can make changes to your own local version. Mm, I'm already here. So you can see here, I already have access to this. So, but if you click this, you uh, fork it, you keep a local copy of it. And if you have a copy of it and you want to clone it, then you can click on code and then you copy this link. Okay, you click this. You see, cloning using web URL. So you can just click on this link. So then we go back and we'll do this. We can go back and type the git clone and then you paste this URL. Then this would download everything on this repo, completely on this repo, and put it back on your computer, locally on your computer, on the current working directory, the folder that you are in when you are typing that command. That's working directory. So the rest of any question? Oh, so my main issue um, is Lukman or Falalu or Balaya with us? Okay, I'm not able to monitor the chat because when I'm sharing, I wouldn't know if a message comes in. So cloning a repository, this is exactly how every student gets this course on their own local own repository onto their machine, your own computer. So you will use this as a running example. So if you have your computer open, you can open the command prompt on VS Code by pressing Control O Command Shift P, depending on which kind of computer you have. Then you type in clone and press enter. Okay. Then you paste the URL. So I would paste the URL. Oh, no. So we'll go here. This is the URL. We click this. We click copy. Bashir, go ahead. Speak up.
Okay, so my question is, for instance, if we clone, let's say we clone this repo, this Area Data Science Introduction to Python repo, and I can see from it, it contains just three, let's say two files and one folder. So assuming another time another file is uploaded, how do we sync it to update on our local repository on our local machine?
Yes, it's a good question, but you are running a bit, what do you call it? A bit ahead of us. So we are coming to that. We do pull requests. So that's how it syncs. Okay?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Yeah, we do a pull request. I will show you how you do that. Any other question? So now we are trying to, let's assume you already, uh, if you want to change your own copy, but if you just want to copy any repo, we can clone this repo. So you open the command palette by pressing the command Shift P. You type git with this semicolon, um, clone, and then you press enter. Then you paste the repo. You can select where you want it to be. Um, the project folder you've already, and then you can paste it. So I haven't done that. I would I would do it now. So Shift Command P. So when you start typing, you actually see it. I type the whole of it because I just want to. But ordinarily, the moment you start typing, it will come up. So when you press enter, it asks you for the URL. Um, so this is, for example, what I want to clone. When I press enter, so it tries to force me or to select a folder. What if I don't want to? You're looking at my files. So let me just select this. So you select, ordinarily you should create a folder, and you've done that in section 2, I believe, that you put in everything that you want. So yeah, if it finish cloning, it will ask you, would you like to open the repository or add it to the current working space? I'll just say open. So now we have the repo cloned. It means this is now locally on my computer. You may be wondering, but it doesn't look like the page. There are ways we are coming to those things, but there are things. Someone said they've seen only 3 folders. Yes, but everything is on this getting started.md. So this is a markdown from yesterday's class. I know Shamsuddin has showed you how to you've had discussions on markdown and what all of this means. So this is it. So this is whatever I'm reading from. The only difference is VS Code now is showing it as the source code, like as a code, not translating whatever this means. There is a way, and we are coming to that. I would point you to the videos we've done even last year of how you can open this as a live website, like looking like a website, whatever I'm looking at with this style and all of that converted on VS Code, so that you don't have to look at it as this. This is a table, but it doesn't look like that and all of that. But this is section I'm reading. The git clone, git init, git clone, you fork, then you clone, and this is the structure I just finished following. So I have now I put it locally on my computer, the entire file that I want to, and when I want to um, refresh it, I have to do a pull request or sync on VS Code. I don't want to be going too far, so I would be stopping time to look at chat if any of you have question or anything. Well done, Amina. Anybody with any question? So yeah, I'll be proceeding. So this is okay. So everything we've done now, we can do it directly on a terminal. or a command prompt. Okay. Um, so to do this on a terminal, which is to me easier, especially if you can do terminal. I can't remember if it's part of the things that we've done, you've done with Shamsuddin, but you just need to type, um, let me do it one by one. I would open terminal, not on VS Code, the normal terminal, but it's all the same. So if you type git clone with the page, it does the same thing for you. If I press enter, it will clone this repo.
Rufe
Um,
nawa ake tada sallah ne?
it will clone this repo in the current directory that I am on.
Eh,
If
Karfe
you
nawa
don't
ake
know
tada sallah ne?
If you don't know what directory, I will mute everybody once again. Don't forget to mute yourself so that you don't interrupt us if you don't want to contribute. So if you type pwd, you can see your actual working directory. Um, and you can see the folders within the directory. You can create a new directory. You can cd to any directory. You can go into any directory. And then if you are in the directory, in the folder that you want to clone, you can type that comment. Okay, I haven't pressed it. When you do that, after the cloning, you have to get into the directory before you do anything. So you can do with cd, which stands for change directory. Most of you can do this, I assume. Oh, I updated my computer. It means I haven't done this in a while. Fine. So now I'm in desktop. If I press pwd, you can see I'm in desktop. So let's assume this is the folder I want to put everything. Then you do that. So oops, it means whatever you've done um uh, uh, in VS Code, you can do it directly from your command prompt. If you are more, if you are not very familiar with, um, I'm sure you've done Bash with Shamsuddin. If you have not done, we have a video of Bash, how you to do things in terminal. So both routes produce an identical result. A full copy of resource repository, including entire history, sitting there, everything will be there. I'm connected to GitHub as a remote named origin, where we'll look at what origin means. From here, whenever the guy sees cloning repository, this is the operation it means. So just keep in mind when we say go and clone a repository, this is what the expectation, what you do. And now when anybody asks you, can you do Git? Do you know Git? Do you know GitHub? Can you clone a repository? You say yes. I will start moving a bit quickly because I think those terms are the more tricky ones for those of you that have never come across them, but for those of you that have will think I'm too slow. So forking a repository, a repo, a fork is your own personal copy of someone else's repository living under your own GitHub account. Your full write access, you get full write access. It means you can do whatever you want with it, even though you don't, you have none on the original. Yes, because it's your own, you just make a copy of it, so it means you just can do whatever you want. This is how open source contribution, this is how open source contribution and how you would submit work back to shared repository actually works. Most students do not have write access to our repo itself. Okay, but we may have, for example, you may, if you clone our page, you may see some things that you think is correct. We may have some errors, and then you can suggest to make a change. So if you ever need to propose a change to the course material, this is how you are going to do. On GitHub, open repository you want to contribute to. For example, we want that. For example, our own page, the Python page, and then you click fork at the top right of the page. I think I've shown you this one. So GitHub will create a copy under your account. This is your fork. Let's see. I don't want to do this. Yeah. So because I have access to that whatever. So that's why I don't want to do this, but it brings you here. So it will, this is my GitHub username, and then it will be slash what the repo, the exact repo name, except if you have a you already have a repository in your GitHub that has the same name, it will allow, because this is not the same with the previous one. If you look at this, it will be under add data science. This is the name of our account, and then I will the other page. But if I create the repo, it will be my username, personal username, and the name of the repo I'm cloning. So the moment I create uh, fork, it will just create a version, and here it will not be added instance, whatever. It will be my name if I go to it with that repo name. So that is what uh, this fork is. So now you have two remotes to keep inside, or two versions to keep inside, two destinations. Okay, origin, it's your own copy. So anytime you are using any command, you want to like, you make changes, and you, because I said the only difference between this, okay, I'll look at the comment. Okay, thank you, Lukman. Just a second. So I told whatever we do, you do it locally. If I'm changing anything on the page that I've cloned previously, we've done it, it will be locally on your computer. When you want to put it back to GitHub, you push. Okay? So origin is your own version. The changes are affected in whatever you fork. If you use upstream, it goes to the original repo. This is whatever username we have, that, and then if you use upstream, it goes to RO data science. The difference is this, you are just proposing, it won't affect as long as you don't have this will not change it because you don't have right access. And someone says, asked, I think it's Bashir, how you can update changes. So two things, and I think I started with this explanation even before we started. You push and you pull. When you make changes, you push them, meaning they are on your computer. You want to put them on GitHub so that it remains current. Okay. But ordinarily, by convention, before you do that, you need to pull, meaning you have to make sure whatever you have locally on your computer is up to date. So that's pulling. Pulling is making sure you update all the changes. Now, if you make your own version of it, from time to time, you need to do pull, because you want whatever changes that happens here, because this is the general version. The moment you make a fork of it, changes are not affected, and we make changes regularly. So you normally, you do your pull updates, meaning you update it to make sure that whatever you have on your computer becomes correct. So you have to do this only one time, meaning you have to set the destination that you want your pull updates to come from, and you do this only once, and then that's all. Okay. And then you cannot do this on VS Code. You have to do it only via the terminal. So you type in this command, git remote add upstream, and then this. Because many of you have already cloned this page, so I would put this on the terminal, and you can type it on the chat, and you can type it in. So yeah, you try. This is what you type in. Then when you type git remote minus v, this command, it just gives you your fork up to date and original repository later. So as I've showed you before, I will show you once again. Excuse me. Especially if you are on Windows, you'll want to be using the terminal directly on your command prompt. It will make it easier for you. So whatever I say, you cannot do something directly from the command palette. You can just type in the command here. So that command that I type in, I can just paste it here. So the source control panel properly explained. So before I even start reading this, let's go to GitHub and look at what it is. So this is the source control panel. This, and it's what we'll be explaining, is where we manage our GitHub issues. And to open it, you press Control Command G. Okay. Shift this one. Yep. Yep. It's showing all the changes and all of that. So you can just click it here. It will open, or you type in Shift Command G to open the source control panel. So if I say source control panel, I mean this with these three cycles connected, whatever, and you can press Shift Control G to open it. So we have a list, a file listed under changes. So distance, we do this in this is what we see in command in on VS Code. We see this on VS Code. If we want to do it exactly the same way on terminal, we put git status. It will show us all the changes, and we can look at that. Now this is what we are looking at. So if I put so on your main branch, your branch is up to date. It means because I just closed it right now, right? So it means everything we have, there is no changes. If there is any change here, it will list all the changes that we have. So when you are clicking and clicking with next to a file, it means you want to stage it. Okay. What is staging? It means you want to make it ready to push. Okay. The files that you have changes that you want to push to your repository. How do you do that? On terminal, you put git add, then you put the file name. Okay. So let me try to do something here. So now I have a new file. If I click here, you see it's here. It is the file that has changes. And then when I come here and put git status, it is telling me I have one file. Okay. And then when I want to stage this, I can click this. Okay. Clicking this would stage. Okay. But when I put git add, Then I can put in my test.txt. It does I know it's maybe a bit small for you to see, but yeah, it does the same thing. So this is how I can do it here. Just click this, you stage it, and then this is how I do it here. Means you make it ready for you to put it on GitHub. I don't want to do this. So when you type a message by clicking the commit button, I've already cleared it, but it means you want to permanently record that changes. It means you are okay with that. That's how you want to proceed. Okay. Um, how you do it on terminal, you put git commit -m, then you type a message. This message can be anything. For example, in this, um, if I put, if I do this, I will just see added new text file and hit enter. Okay. And here it will be the same. If you type added new text file, then you file and you click commit. It does the same thing. So the moment you do that, the next thing is you have to push. It means you are all ready, then you push it. You put it back on GitHub. That's how you sync it. So on what do you call? It makes it easy. In the source panel, you just click sync changes. So it automatically will sync. After you commit, you click this sync changes, it automatically. But on terminal, you have two options. You git push, you push whatever you have done to the GitHub repo, and then git pull, you download whatever others have done. So your upload commits, then downloads anyone else. So this is how you collaborate and work together on GitHub. So Khamis, you have to, luckily it's being recorded, so you can watch the video. Don't leave, just remain within the chat. You may be able to catch up, but remain, you can watch the video. I will upload the videos to this video and yesterday's video after I have my breakfast. So yeah, I'll upload it and then you can watch. So the numbers on the sync buttons matter. An upward arrow with a number shows commits you have not staged yet. A downward arrow shows the numbers that you don't have locally. All this is explaining what you have within the source panel here. So this is things that you would normally be doing if you are working, collaborating on using Git and GitHub. So I'll just be explaining this. If you want to see what have changed, Git status, we've done that. On source panel, you just see the lists. We've sent this, okay? We have git diff file name. I will explain this. I'll come back to that. The use specific change, and then stage everything. You just click the plus sign, and then on your terminal you put git add period. So this, initially what I've shown you is git add and specific file name. I use the test.txt, but ordinarily, in many instances, not ordinarily, in some instances, you want to just add everything you've changed. Like all the changes you've done, you want to just update it. So you put period. It means every change that you've done in the repo, you want it staged. You want it you intend to push it to the main. But for example, if you have specific files, you can list them. But if you want to just teach everything, you use period, full stop, and this is what many people do at times. Like just put everything you've done. Commit means you want to definitely make that change. You type a message, you click the tick sign, while on terminal command prompt, you type git commit -m and you type any message you want. It's good sometimes to type informative message. If we come here, yes, Shamsuddin has made some changes. You see, he put added books. So I know what he added. I know the books he added, but he added, I think, the book that we are going to use. He added somewhere. Um, oh, yep. You see, this books, he added them. So you see, yesterday. So this is what he've done. So that message that you see, this is the message. It appears here so that you know all the change. It's easier to track the changes that have been done. If you don't type the message or you leave it, you put something uninformative or you put message all the time, then you wouldn't know what you've done. It's always good to type in a message that when anybody looks at it, knows you've done what you've done. So both push and pull, you just click sync on your source panel. I explain what the source panel is, but then on the terminal, you just type git push to put everything you've done, or git pull to put whatever you've done. So there is nothing correct or wrong about any of this. It's all the same thing. The user interface is faster for reviewing different. Okay, I've said I'll explain this. You may be wondering what is the difference between this git status and git diff. Git status just gives you an overview of all the files that have changed. Okay, while git diff gives you what changes between two files. I mean, a single file, you have a copy of your computer and you have a copy on uh, your GitHub. So it shows you the difference between what changes between this file. So it basically opens the file and shows you exactly the difference between them. So that's why you have to add a specific file name. But just status just gives you an overview. So you normally use this when, for example, I worked on a file, Lukman or Bala worked on the same file, and we are trying to like sync, there will be clash. Okay, so when if mine is I've made changes and a different person have made changes on different places, I can use this to see whatever changes they have to pick what I want before I push it to the file. You want to inspect the changes, so you review specific changes that done to a file. So I've explained most of these things. Git push explained pushing uploads the commits you have made locally to the remote repository on GitHub so that other people and other machines can use them. If someone else has pushed commits on the same branch since you last pulled, GitHub reject your push. You will see an error like rejected, whatever. This is not a bug. It's Git refusing to silently overwrite the history. It does not have a copy of locally. The fix is always pull first, then resolve completes. If you cannot match automatically, then you push again. If JIT cannot match automatically, then you push again. So generally, before you push, this is what I open with, I believe. You pull so that whatever changes has been done, you pull them. And then after pulling, if you try to push, it refuses to work. It's not a reason to panic. It means Git has not been able to resolve different changes that you have done and what's already on the origin. So you have to resolve them before you push, and we're going to look at that in section 4.7. So Git pull, you are downloading every changes that exist on the original version remote, but not yet on your machine, and merges them into your current branch. Run it first. Run it at the start of your work session and anytime you know someone else have made changes. In VS Code, you just click the sync. It does both pull and push together. If you only want to pull, use the menu, the three dots on the menu in the source panel, and then you can click pull. The rot or you just type on the terminal git pull. So forgetting to pull before you start working is the single most common source of merge conflicts, meaning it cannot merge or basically sync. You and your remote bot have moved forward from the same starting point, and JIT has to reconcile two different versions of the same lines when you finally pull. Pulling often, especially at the start of every session, keeps these conflicts small and rare instead of large, painful ones. So always remember before you push, you pull and pull regularly, especially if you're working on a file. If you are actively collaborating, so you pull regularly so that you are not out of date and whatever work you are doing is not too diverged from whatever is on the origin. So explaining branch. A branch is an independent line of work, a way to try to change without touching working version until you are ready. Every repository has default branch that is called the main. So a branch is right now, the moment you take a repo and you start making a change, whatever you are doing, it's a branch. Whatever it's on your original GitHub, that's the main branch. Whatever changes you are doing, they are branches. So creating and switching branches in VS Code, click the branch name shown in the left corner of your status bar. If it reads main, it reads main by default. Choose create new branch and give a short descriptive name. Okay, so just a moment. I'll look at what we have. We are at the top of the hour. Up, yeah, so we are almost done. So I'll quickly rush through this so that we finish. Make your changes, stage, and commit as usual. Whatever you've done after you've created a branch, everything you commit now belongs to that branch, not on the main branch until you merge it. When you push a new branch for the first time, VS Code source panel offers a publish branch button. The terminal equivalent is you just put git push, you use this argument minus u origin, then you type in whatever you want to push. Switch back to your main at any time by clicking the branch in the status bar again and selecting main. So this is the last thing we are going to look at, handling merge conflicts. I explained that when you are working, there will be merge conflicts when you want to push and the changes you have on your computer and what's on the origin does not tally. You make changes on the same kind of files, then it will not match. A merge conflict happens when JIT cannot automatically combine two sets of changes to the same lines of the same file, most often because you and your collaborator or you and yourself, even if it's only your page, you've done two, you and your past self on a different branches edited the same place differently. This is not an error to fear. It is JIT correctly refusing to guess. So when conflict occurs, VS Code marks the affected file in the source control panel and opens it, but with a built-in merge editor showing. So you'll see the current change, what your branch has, incoming change, what you are merging, buttons to accept current, incoming, accept boot, or edit the result by hand. So it gives you the opportunity to manually inspect both files and then edit locally what you have. So you have to look through it, and this is why you have to pull regularly. If it's only a small changes, you can easily inspect them and select whatever you want. If you have so many changes, then you spend a lot of time trying to match conflicts. So walk through each conflict section, choose the correct outcome, save file, and then stitch and commit as normal. The commit itself records the conflict as resolved. It would rather see the rule markers and VS codes interpreting. They look like this. If you look at what it looks like, it would be something like this. Your version of line of code, their version of line of code. So you would um, um, uh, correct it, pick whatever you want, delete whatever those are, and keep the content actually how you want it, every conflict before committing. So you have to manually inspect the files. You put your own file and whatever you have from the origin to select what you want. So always pull before you push. Opening and reviewing pull request without leaving VS Code. A pull request is a request to merge your branch or your fork into someone else's repository with a place for discussion and review before it happens. This is how you submit. This is how you submit your coursework to a shared class repository and how you essentially. So this is for collaboration. If you don't have right access to a repo, the only way you can make a contribution is through pull request. And now when we ask you to do anything and submit on a specific repo, you wouldn't have a right access so that you don't override whatever we have on that repo. So you would have to do pull request. So with the GitHub pull request extension installed from the fork and branch you built in section 14.3 and push to your origin, and then you can open GitHub pull request icon in the activity bar. You click pull request and confirm the base repository, usually the one that has the main branch. You have to write a short description of whatever you change or you are submitting, and then you click submit. The browser works identical if you provide. Click the pull and requests on your fork GitHub after pushing the branch, but doing it in VS Code means you never lose your place. You can just do it altogether in VS Code. You can do it on GitHub on your browser, but if you do it on VS Code, then you remain in the same place. So everything so far has used shared that you do not have right access before you touch pull requests and branches on someone else's project. It helps you have a repository that is entirely your own, a sandbox of a kind where you can push, pull, and even break things. You will be using this throughout whatever. So you can go to github.com, new set repository name. You leave it public so that everybody can see it. You can add edit me and click create repository. You have a new repo. Look, man, you've done this yesterday with Shamsi, right? They've created repo.
No, no, no. GitHub was left for today.
Oh, I saw in the video like uh but you all have GitHub, I mean GitHub accounts. You all have GitHub account. Is that part of yesterday? It's like I've seen it in the video.
No, I don't think it was. Maybe I forgot, but I don't think
Okay.
it was done.
Okay. Does any of you have a GitHub page? You should have, I think, right? Type in. You can type or speak up.
Yeah, you have GitHub account, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right from your page, for example, your account, you can just create a new repository, and you want it on your account. In your own case, you'll only see yourself, and then you type in the page name you want. Um, Configuration, choose visibility. You want it to be uh, public, and you can just add a README. You can also add whatever type of license you want. You can just select the Apache license and you create repo. This will create a repository in in your on your GitHub account. So you go to GitHub, you set a repository name, whatever. So it will be, I've shown you this during the beginning of the class. It will have your name slash whatever you've done. It will have only this file.readme under your account, and you can edit it, style it. I think I've seen in the video of yesterday, Chefs is showing you how to do markdown, the header, and all of that. What we've done, we did this, so you can see how you can start explaining whatever you are doing there, all of that. And you remember the steps. We've done all of this. Chunk, JIT status, JIT add readme. If you can make any change to your readme, then you do the JIT add readme, JIT commit -m, update readme, and then you push it. And this is your own personal page. You can do whatever you want to do with it. You can add your things. And this is particularly very good, for example, uh, if for this course, Array Data Science, all your Python scripts that you'll be running, machine learning scripts, data science issues, you have them on your computer in that folder. So you can put it online. People can see what you've learned, what you are doing, all of that, because it becomes public. And then you are working on it on your computer. Anytime you make changes, you add new things, you learn new, you can just push it. And you can just practice pulling in your just on your terminal. Okay. So if you want to practice uh, pulling, for example, you can practice with our page. We make changes regularly, but notwithstanding, on this on your own page, you could this is the README. It looks like this, and I think I explained this. It's looking like a page, but it's markdown. If you click this edit file, it will open it as um, the source code of the GitHub. I can make any change here. I can, for example, add change the kind of header I want or whatever, and then you just click commit changes. So this is on the browser, and this file has changed. A version um, of uh, this file locally on your computer would not change. Okay. So when you want to update it, you have to do git pull. So whatever changes you've done on your on this file will now be updated with what you have locally on your computer. So I made a slight change here. Start here if you are new to programming. I think this is the page I cloned just now. So I should be able to. Hmm. So you see, when I tapped in git pull, it updated, it told me one file change, one insertion, one deletion. So if I look at this file, let me do this. I should see whatever change that I have has been affected. You see, start here if you are new. Initially, it's not typed like this way. So this is just if you want to see what how it works. Okay. When you watch the video, um you would get this better. Maybe you have some network issues at the time. So any change I make on VS Code, and this is my VS Code, any change I make here is not automatically changed on GitHub. Okay? You have to um, stage it, commit, and push. And we explained how we can do all of these things using two ways, using the source control panel here. If there is any change, I even created this file just to show you. Uh, we have this, okay? You stage it by clicking this plus sign, okay? And then you type a message, you click commit, and then you click the sync button to sync it if you want to use this interface. And then on the terminal, that's how we explain you. We have to first do the git status to see whatever have changed. Now we will not see anything. I should have done that before I did that. Oh, I have this file here, which I don't want to. So this file, so you have to git add whatever you want to. Then, for example, git add. I've done this before. .txt. I want to add this. Okay, and then you do git commit whatever message. I've even shown you example of a message that shows in an added box, and then you git push. So you have to push whatever you've done. The end of the line is push. You have to push whatever you've done for it to be on GitHub. If it works on what do you call it? PowerShell is like it's similar to terminal on Windows. Yeah, so this is the things you do, the steps. You have it locally on your VS Code. You have to you edit on your computer. Then you do git add whatever readme. This is staging. We call this stage. That's the plus sign you click on your source control panel. Then you have to commit. Type in git commit -m. You type a message. I said it has to be an informative message. The change I just did here, if I come up here, we see it here, fix word one for clarity in readme. Okay. And then at the end, you do git push. So the changes go to the cloud. And if anybody elsewhere have pushed already and you want to update it locally on your computer, you just put git pull Okay, pull. And that's how I showed you example of pulling. I edited this file by clicking this. This is on the browser. This is on the browser. I edited this file. Then I have to go to my VS Code and do git pull to see these changes. So you can do this practice, and probably we will have office hours to look at this to do the practice. Yeah, we can have office hours so that we can do this live together with all of you. Let's have the discussion on Discord. Of if you need try some things. If you get stuck or anything, let me know if you need office hours. Then we can talk together. Practice these exercises. If you get stuck with anything, just let's have office hours to look at it. So any other question? So VS Code, and I'll quickly read this. You are learning Python in at a moment when the editor itself can write, explain, debug code alongside. That's a genuine change. How programming is practiced, and pretending otherwise would leave you unprepared for how research and industry teams already work. This sections is not about replacing all of those. You need the fundamentals in your head because you are the one who has to judge whether AI suggestion is correct, and an AI that writes code you cannot read is actually it's not actually saving any time. Think of it as a calculator relates to arithmetic, enormously useful once you understand what you are doing, and a trap if you've never learned. So I will not read through this. You read through it, but in essence, um, now AI is used almost integrated in every compiler you are using, in any VS Code, Spider, whatever kind of programming environment you are using. AI is already integrated, and many industry standards have already incorporated use of AI in their pipeline. Every company now uses AI for coding, so it makes no sense to see that you cannot use AI for coding. But what we normally recommend and tell students is you have to learn before you use AI. In the classes I teach, I tell students to turn off AI by default. And I would do the same for you. Yeah, on your VS Code. You can turn off AI and code completion. Why? Because I want you to learn first, then you know how to use, then you can use AI within it. So when we are learning the very beginning, there is no even code completion. You have to type in all the codes yourself so that you can remember the syntax and all of that. You are able to remember most of them. But at the end, when you have to do a project, then you can use, for example, code completion, things like that. You cannot use AI to write your code, but you can use it for completion, all of that. Why? Because you already know what is going on. If you use AI to write any code, but then you don't understand it, it makes you are not able to do the job, and you cannot know when it's wrong or right. You cannot be the judge, and you cannot make iterations. It still have very limited reasoning capabilities. Um, it may not understand what actually you want before it generates. There may be errors based on understanding. It will be your own judgment to look at it to understand if that's what you expected or not. If you don't understand the principle, you are not able to do that. So I'll stop sharing my screen and recording and take some questions before I let you go.